Francine Frensky sucks at being Jewish.
Who the f*** starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Okay, let me back up a little. Francine Frensky is one of the few canonically Jewish characters to be prominently featured on Arthur. We first learned about the Frensky family's Jewish origins in the hour-long holiday special Arthur's Perfect Christmas, which along with these other movies is turning 25 this year. Not sure how I feel about that. In the special, Francine can't go to Muffy's Christmas party because it's the same night as her family's Hanukkah celebration. The two girls have their umpteenth falling out after Muffy chews her out for choosing her family over a party.
It's not like Hanukkah is as important as Christmas.
When Muffy finally apologizes for being a crappy friend, Francine shows her why Hanukkah means so much to her and her family. It's a really touching moment that I'm sure resonated with a lot of Jewish kids who watched the special. Sadly, this sentiment would not carry over for the remaining run of the show. After this special, anytime Francine brings up Judaism, she either views it as a social inconvenience or something she can win at for bragging rights, which is ironic seeing how she's not very good at observing Jewish customs.
Just keep your broccoli away from my pepperoni.
Now, I'm not expecting an 8-year-old to know the Torah like the back of her hand. I actually think Francine is a great example of what it's like being a kid trying to juggle their social life with their obligations to their family and to their faith. Having said that, going to temple has not stopped Francine from being a total schmuck. So today, I want to take a look at the Jewish episodes of Arthur to see how Francine is more bupkis than bubbeleh. Also, thank you to everyone who pre-ordered the FUDW plushie. We successfully hit our campaign goals, which means I'm now indebted to you all to rank every single episode of Arthur. Why did I do this to myself? This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Make sure to turn on notifications and help get this video to 5,000 likes.
And I say, hey!
The episode opens with Buster ordering the world's most complicated sundae.
A scoop of calamari crunch on a sugar cone with jalapeno jimmies.
That's revolting. Who the f calls sprinkles jimmies? Arthur says it's important not to bite off more than you can chew, like Buster with his diabolical dairy disaster. He drops his ice cream on the floor, and the batty-brained bunny boy takes the 5-second rule to a whole new level.
Looks like I picked up some extra nuts.
Hopefully his next scoop comes with a free tetanus shot. It's lunchtime at Lakewood, and Francine is excited for the upcoming bowling tournament against Mighty Mountain. Buster says he's sick of losing to the Mighty Meatheads, and then references 2 instances where they specifically beat Mighty Mountain. Looks like those extra nuts caused Buster to go nuts. Francine claims to be the best bowler in town, so the gang assumes they can't lose. And then Muffy gets involved. Muffy insists on making herself part of the team, not because she knows how to bowl, but because she thinks the uniforms are like totally fabulous.
Those two-tone shoes are so fabulously retro chic.
What the hell are you on about? They're bowling shoes, not Gucci bags. Muffy weasels her way onto the team after agreeing to pay for everyone's uniforms. The gang agrees to make her the team's fashion consultant, and the meaningless title goes directly to her head.
But we're going to have to do something about your hair.
Oh, trust me, I'll have plenty to say about that episode next time. That night, Francine is about to destroy her sister's Polly Locket dolls with her bowling ball when her mom yells at her to stop putting holes in the wall. It turns out Francine's cousin is having his bar mitzvah the same day as the bowling tournament, and Francine says, "No way, oy vey." Francine whines that she can't miss the bowling tournament to go to a lame bar mitzvah.
The whole school's counting on me.
What do you mean, the whole school? There's 5 people on your team. You know there are other kids who go to Lakewood Elementary, right?
Name him. I can't.
The next day, Francine tells her friends her parents are making her go to the bar mitzvah, and unsurprisingly, Muffy has no clue what a bar mitzvah is. Francine claims it's just a boring party with lots of presents, and the brain jumps at the chance to actually her uncultured ass.
To truly understand, you have to go back to the beginning of the Jewish people.
Alan, are you really gonna mansplain bar mitzvahs to the Jewish girl? Arthur says their team doesn't stand a chance without their best bowler, and Francine laments that she can't be in 2 places at once. Or can she? The brain comes up with a plan to have Francine at the bar mitzvah and the bowling tournament at the same time. They're not gonna clone her, are they? There's already one too many Francine Frenskys in this world for my liking. The brain concocts a scheme that's so convoluted that it must have been born out of a 3 a.m. Ritalin fever dream. He says Francine will need to wear her uniform under her party outfit so that after the bar mitzvah, she can ride her bike to the bowling alley, which feels like an instant recipe for heat stroke. The brain instructs Arthur to drop off Francine's bike outside of the synagogue on his way to the tournament, along with her helmet and bowling shoes.
How do I get to the tournament? The team fashion consultant will pick you up.
Wait, if Muffy's taking her limo to the tournament, why doesn't she just send her driver to pick up Francine from the party? Who came up with this plan? A child? The brain says once Francine wins the tournament, she should have enough time to get back to the party before anyone notices she's missing. Francine has absolutely no objections to the brain's line of reasoning, and fully commits to the plan. What could possibly go wrong? The day of the tournament arrives, and almost immediately things get off to a bad start. Francine struggles to squeeze her uniform under her dress, and ends up completely foregoing pants after almost getting caught by her mom. The Frenskys get to the synagogue, and Francine is blown away by her cousin's reading of the Torah.
He studied this passage for a year to be ready for today.
Wow.
Francine, have you never been to a bar mitzvah before? Didn't you have to go through all this when Catherine had her bat mitzvah? The family gets to the reception, and Francine is already way behind schedule. She tries to sneak off in the most nonchalant way possible.
Right now I have to go to the bathroom.
Smooth as gravel. Francine finds her bike in the alley, but oi gevalt, it looks like Arthur forgot her bowling shoes. Francine barely makes it to the tournament without tearing her dress to shreds. She's forced to rent a pair of shoes from the bowling alley, but wouldn't you know it, they're all out of shoes.
All I got is a 10.
Motherfucker, how are you gonna work at a bowling alley and be out of bowling shoes? Francine waddles onto the bowling lane looking like Ronald McDonald's relapsed uncle. Turns out Muffy took it upon herself to replace Francine's custom bowling ball with this gaudy looking gutter ball. The two divas are about to throw down when the brain steps in to remind them there's only 3 minutes left in the episode. The Lakewood team is still 35 points behind, and Francine says she can't bowl properly in her oversized shoes. Gee, if only she could swap shoes with a member of her team who isn't bowling. Francine rushes back to the party just in time for the main course. Her parents ask her where she's been, and Francine claims she was in the alley blowing chunks. The nefarious Nunnik is about to pig out on roast beef, but Francine can't eat that. No, she's far too sick. Her mother sends back the dish and instead orders her a bowl of plain broth. That's what you get, you little fibber. Francine rushes back to the bowling alley, where it looks like Buster accidentally shaved off one of his eyebrows. Francine is horrified to find Muffy has taken her spot on the team, and even worse, she might be a better bowler than her, even if it does take her a million years to pick up a damn spare. Francine is about to shove Muffy's head into the ball return, but the brain tells her to schlep her jealous Tookus back to the party. Francine heads back to the reception to find it's time for the hora aora. Her dad asks what happened to her dress, and Francine claims a waiter spilled roast beef on her.
What a klutz.
Hey, don't go blaming the waitstaff for your screw-up. Francine is about to go up in the chair, but runs out when she realizes she's late for the final round. Hold up, it was 2 o'clock when she left the bowling alley, and now it's 2:45? You're telling me it took Francine 45 minutes to bike 3 blocks across town? Francine makes it back to the bowling alley, just in time to watch Muffy pick up the winning spare. Muffy wins the tournament for their team, which somehow feels worse than if they had just lost to Mighty Mountain. Francine watches her team lift Muffy onto their shoulders, and the jaded Jewish girl is at the end of her wits. Francine sulks back to the party, and the Frensky parents finally start to catch on to their daughter's shady shenanigans.
I thought it was your nose that grew when you told lies. Apparently, it's your bowling shoes.
I know you all can't see it, but I just facepalmed so hard I crushed my forehead into a 3-head. Francine gets grounded for the rest of her life, and then some. She says she feels bad that she missed out on so much of her cousin's bar mitzvah.
I missed a really great party for that stupid bowling tournament.
I bet you wouldn't be calling it stupid if you had won the tournament instead of Muffy. The brain tries to cheer her up by reminding Francine that she'll have her own bat mitzvah party in just over 5 years. That is if her petty bullcrap doesn't get her killed before then. So in trying to be in 2 places at once, Francine ruined not 1, but 2 key events. Don't believe me? Let's review. Francine threw a hissy fit because her parents wouldn't let her skip an important family event to participate in an ultimately meaningless competition. She refused to let her best friend be a part of the team, until Muffy agreed to pay for everything. Instead of getting a replacement for the tournament, Francine tried to attend both events at the same time, and ended up making a fool out of herself at every single turn. She didn't even get to enjoy the party and was forced to watch as her best friend stole her limelight. And not only did she not contribute to her team's victory, but she got caught by her parents due to her own incompetence. But that's not as bad as the time Francine tried to starve herself to prove she was a better Jew than her sister. The episode opens with Francine stranded in the middle of the desert. I like where this is going. She stumbles upon a hidden oasis, and it looks like even Francine's camel is sick of her crap.
If you were in such a rush, you should have rented a dune buggy.
Francine nearly swallows an orange hole when she's stopped by a mysterious shadowy figure. The stranger tells her to drop the fruit, and Francine tells them to go suck on a peach pit.
Who are you anyway? You.
Oh god, they did end up cloning her. The Frensky family is preparing for Yom Kippur, and Catherine tells her lazy sister to get off her tuchus and help clean. Francine gripes how she always gets stuck with the jobs that blow, but her sister says her jobs blow way harder than Francine's. Catherine points out that Francine doesn't have to fast for Yom Kippur, and the big-mouthed brat claims she can fast just as good as her sister, even though she doesn't know what fasting is.
I don't have to know what it means. I'm still gonna win.
I think that pretty much sums up Francine as a character. Her mom explains that fasting involves going without food or water for a whole day, and says Francine is too young to partake in not partaking. Just then, Francine's bubby arrives and wastes no time roasting her grandkids like fresh brisket.
Even though blue is not really your color, darling. You have gotten so skinny! Are you feeding her?
Francine insists she's going to fast with the rest of her family for the entire day, and her bubby tells her to quit acting Meshugana. She says Francine shouldn't be in a rush to grow up, though I don't think that'll be an issue considering she's been 8 years old for the past 3 decades. Francine's friends rightfully assume she'll crumble at the first sight of crumble cake. Arthur says his Turkish pen pal is used to to fasting for Ramadan and encourages Francine to ask him for advice. Francine claims she doesn't need any help, as she's already started intermittently fasting to get ready for Yom Kippur. We'll see how long that lasts. That afternoon, Arthur gets a call from Paula's Pizzeria, where it turns out he's won a raffle for a free pizza party for him and his friends. Where were these raffles when I was a kid? When I was Arthur's age, all we got was a free tiny pizza if we could read 10 books in a month. And it was awesome. Francine gets an Evite to Arthur's pizza party, which just so happens to be on Saturday. But Saturday is Saturday. Francine vetches to her bubby that Arthur's party is the same day as Yom Kippur. Bubby questions why Arthur can't just reschedule the party for another day, but Francine says it's too late for Paula's Pizzeria to change the date. Well, isn't that some plot-convenient crap? Catherine accuses Francine of welching on her promise, and the mouthy Meshugana doubles down on her self-imposed starvation. That night, the Frensky family heads home from the synagogue, and Francine can't wait to go back to temple tomorrow. Said no Jewish kid ever. Francine pats herself on the back for going 2 full hours without food. Catherine continues to taunt her sister as she figures it's only a matter of time before she cracks. The next day, Francine's stomach starts to betray her as her rumbly tummy interrupts temple.
What was that? Is there a dog in here?
Bubby convinces Francine's mom to let them leave early. Best grandma ever. Francine tries to distract herself from her growing hunger pangs with television, which backfires almost immediately.
Glazed pecan buns, cool.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
She next tries to find a book to read, but it turns out her family has the most ironic book collection ever conceived.
Breakfast at Tiffany's? Home of my cheese?
You know that book isn't actually about cheese, right? Francine settles on Little Dorrit, only to find it's filled to the brim with the filthiest food erotica ever put to paper.
Roast beef and baked potatoes glued together by their own richness?
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Francine finally decides to contact Arthur's pen pal, even though it's probably like 3 a.m. his time. He suggests Francine distract herself by spending time with her friends. Francine decides to head over to Arthur's house, as she assumes the pizza party is probably over. She gets to the Reed house to find all her friends in the middle of a food orgy. Francine tries her best to control her urges, until Paula puts the doughy decadence directly into her hands. Francine can't control it anymore, and Paula gets a candid shot of Francine deep-throating a meat lover's deluxe. Francine takes the walk of shame back to her home, where she's confronted by a pair of biblically accurate paralysis demons.
From now on, I'm just gonna call you F for failure.
I just assume this is what Joan Rivers has been doing every day for the past 10 years. Francine gets home and is shocked to find her bubby chowing down on a sandwich.
Your mother's got something against mayonnaise?
Francine nearly has a crap attack until Bubby points out that children and the elderly aren't required to fast during Yom Kippur if it affects their health. Bubby quickly deduces that Francine broke her fast, and the dejected dimwit admits she's a screw-up.
I'm a failure.
Do you know how long I've been waiting to hear those words come out of your mouth? Bubby reminds Francine that Yom Kippur is the day when Jewish people ask forgiveness for all the mistakes they've made. Though if Francine tried to fast long enough to forgive all of her sins, she'd probably starve to death. Francine finds Catherine making a cake in the kitchen to celebrate her first fast. Francine expects her sister to rub her failure in her face, but it turns out Catherine is the bigger person. Literally. Catherine admits she also didn't make it through her first fast. The only difference is that she wasn't a huge bitch about it. The Frensky parents get home, and the family celebrates the end of their fast with a slice of Francine's favorite humble pie.
I am so glad you're not cooking.
Joan Rivers, you are truly an angel. Let's review. Francine insisted on fasting the whole day for Yom Kippur, even though she was too young. She only tried to fast because she wanted to one-up her sister and rejected her friend's help until it was too late. She nearly made herself sick by starving herself for no good reason, and broke down the second a slice of pizza was put in her hands. And while Francine should be proud of her family's faith and traditions, she's going to need a serious attitude adjustment if she hopes to avoid the pits of Gehenna. F you, Francine. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know in the comments which cartoon brat you want me to tear into next. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
Coming up next.
Did you know there's a poodle on your head?
Yeah, and it does tricks too.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. If you can learn to work and play and get along with each other.